Welcome back to Roadshow by CNET's live stage at the 2017 North American International Auto Show here in Detroit. My name is Tim Stevens. I'm editor-in-chief of Roadshow, and joining me now is Rod Alberts, executive director of the DADA. Rod, welcome to our show floor, to our stage, and welcome to your show floor. I mean, this is kind of your show in a bit of a way, right?
Yeah, you know, I've been doing this show for 27 years. It's hard to believe. I don't look that old, I know, right?
Absolutely not.
But yeah, we're proud of where we've kind of grown the show over the last several years, in particular, even after coming out of 2009, what was so challenging for everybody.
Yeah.
But we're in a good place right now, and it's an exciting time in the car market, and with mobility and everything else, as you've seen this week, it's just taking off.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the unveils. I want to talk about the new automobility section. But first, I want to talk about an interesting and unexpected partnership, and that's with the Pixar movie Cars. There was a product launch here of a car that doesn't actually exist in the real world.
Well, I guess that just shows that we're pretty diverse. We try to do it all here, right? But, you know, John Lasseter and his team came in back in 2002, I believe was his year. But he came here to get ideas for that first Cars movie. And, you know, he loves cars. He's really got a passion for it. He spent a couple hours on the show floor getting into all the details. But the nice thing is they called about 8 months ago, and they said, we want to keep it under the radar, but we'd love to come in and do our product there. And we had to think it over. We thought, how is this going to work out with the auto manufacturers? But the beauty was everybody loved it. Yeah. And having him come in and bring in McQueen and all the other debuts of the cars, it's going to be a great movie coming out this summer.
Yeah, it's something that, I mean, we're all adults, and this is a movie for kids, obviously. Yeah. But even seeing, you know, the life-size Speed McQueen roll up on stage yesterday, or on Sunday, excuse me. Yeah. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you know, it seems so real when you're next to it. Like, God, I'm actually meeting a movie star. You know, so you'll believe how many people took to that, and the cameras going. They're trying to embargo that too. There were so many people here with the press watching that, but it's impossible. Everybody's got their cameras going, but the beauty is it's just part of what the auto industry and the love for it's all about, and it goes well beyond just. The animation side's even a part of that too. And John Lasseter, who's a creative guy with Disney and Pixar, and a big star himself. You know, it's a big deal to have them here, and it was a great kickoff. Great kickoff.
Definitely a great way to kick off. And that also sort of started to kick off things at the Automobility program, which kicked off on Sunday. So that's a new extension to the Detroit show for the first time coming out this year. Tell me a little bit about Automobility and basically what was the idea of launching that?
Well, you know, everybody knows mobility is just a big deal right now in regard to the technology and the companies coming in. And even myself, as I'm getting older, and sometimes I have to realize that the autonomy and all this kind of thing going on with cars, we embrace. I went out this past year and a half with my team. We traveled all over the world. We actually talked to companies that were in deep knowledge about how to put on events like that. We took all the best ideas, just like we did 28 years ago with the North American International Auto Show, took the best practices of those and put them in place here. But the one thing we did differently, which I really love and we can grow on, is that we took the areas of technology and mobility, and we didn't just build a trade show. We didn't want to get to that mundane side. We created a village and actually have it kind of like you're in the future, what it'd be like with the Jetsons running around the show. So between what we did in the new atrium with the renovation of Kobo, which is great with the $300 million, and then with this area mobility, with this in villages of whether it be cybersecurity, or autonomous cars, or connected car, it's all a part of that. In a way, you walk in and you feel like you just stepped into the future. But the future's now, and we got to be a part of it. And the North American Auto Show is doing everything we can to be. I'll tell you right now, we had people come in and say, we want to grow and become a part of this in the future. And I think in the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see this just take off, and it'll be a world stage for that coming right out of here.
And you said the future is now, and it is. We were surprised by Volvo announcing that their Drive Me program started actually right here. They flew in a family from Sweden here to take delivery of their XC90, fully autonomous, the first fully autonomous car on the road available to consumers, and they did that right here, which is a very interesting
thing. You know, that's what I love Volvo and what they've done with that, and of course they had the Truck of the Year last year and all that too. But, you know, having that family part of it and the consumer involved, I really respect what auto companies are doing with that. I even know that Chrysler's got the same thing with the kids going around and having that connection and selling, helping market the car. But it's really about the families. When it comes down to it, auto shows were created to connect with the consumer and the people and the choices that they have and making it safe. So having what they did with that was a smart move and a great move by Volvo, because they are about family and security.
And looking a little bit further down the road, Waymo CEO John Krafchick was here talking about the advancement that his company is making in the sensor package, basically driving costs down, and there's fully autonomous specific test bed, and that was a part of the automobility program we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, John Krafchick, he was here last year, and he's a great guy and a very brilliant guy when it comes to auto industry. He was with Hyundai and all that. But when he came in last year, he came back to us after he said, "Can I come in and do something we've never done before with, at that time, Google, but the spinoff is Waymo." And by the time they brought that in, of course, having the car here and what they're doing, and they're so very detailed about how they go about things and a different way of marketing. But having them here was huge for the show. But I know that John's really excited about how this came out and the coverage they got. And I think it's, again, taking it to the people, understanding that Google is another car company or reaching out to be a technology within the car. They're going to be out there in the future with what they're building, and we're going to be in those cars.
Now, we saw a lot of big unveils this year. The Chevy Traverse, probably one of the big ones. An SUV, that's a huge trend right now that we're seeing to continue on.
Sure.
Looking from a dealer perspective, how do you see the SUV adoption expanding? Is it going to continue to be? Is it really a strong part of the market now, or is it just a trend that's based on low fuel costs at this point?
That's a great question. I'm not sure there's a perfect answer for it. But we had an event the other night called the Gallery event, which is all the high-end cars. We have the MGM Grand Casino. We had about 30 cars, and there were several cars in there, including one by Bentley that was an SUV. And again, that's an odd thing for me to see, but you know how this goes. I'm more in the sports car side on that. But if you have families and it's getting that luxury segment, it doesn't matter where that is now. It's not limited. It's across the board. And I think SUVs are here to stay. Look at what NACTOY did with the North American Car and Truck of the Year.
Right, splitting things
They
out.
added one more area of the award with the SUV, and that's a big one, So all the way around, I believe that you're going to see that's going to be here to stay, and you're going to see more of that throughout every lineup of the market segments.
And of course, electrification helps there too to help make them a little bit more environmentally friendly, much more so than they were, 10, 15 years ago when we were having lots of issues with gas prices going up again.
Yeah. We had an area where we had a ride and drive. We built the landscape city down. We had the mulch. I'm not sure everybody liked the mulch part of it, but I did, But the whole thing is, when you look at that, was a new component, and silent cars at one time, that was a new one.
Sure.
It's almost becoming more acceptable now. People understand that. But now we're getting into the new section of mobility and all the areas of connected car, and that's what millennials want. So you're right, whether it's electric car or the other areas that's going to connect cars, the electric side is kind of still there, and it's going to be a part of it, but it's just one segment of energizing the car and becoming the power of it. But there's a zillion other things out there. One thing I want to add to that too is we have this Techstars that came in, and they vetted thousands of companies that all have ideas for technology in cars. We have 50 of those on site right now that are at the top of those that have legitimate opportunity, but they don't have the money. So all these companies are coming in, or that they're meeting with, and also angel investors that can be a part of that. But the future is very bright in the area of technology and mobility. It's going to be a great time with it.
All right, Rod, we got to wrap it, I guess.
Sure.
One last question quickly. What are you driving these days?
That's a good one. Funny, I had the Bobble last year. I change every year because I've got a diversity and a good mind across the board.
Sure.
The quality of cars are great across the board, but I'm driving a Jeep Wrangler right now.
Okay.
You get a little snow in Detroit. I thought I'd try that out, and I had the Bobble. So I'm going the other direction, but I do love that Jeep make a great product, and they have a great history. So that's my current.
All right, great. Rod, thank you very much for joining us, Executive Director of the DADA. Up next.